Yep, you guys know what it is. Time for another set review. Now, I did have this whole thing completed already, but the first part of the video, like the quality was so bad that it really wasn't even showable. So I tried to stop and just do the second half of it, but the audio recorded, but it doesn't actually come up in Adobe Premiere Pro. So I think it's a codec issue somewhere. But rather than just try to fix that abomination, I'm just gonna do the whole thing over again. So yeah, hour of footage gone, but I'm not going to cover every card that I did last time. Like I looked at Beedrill, as I'm gonna look at Beedrill again because it's a very interesting card. But I'm gonna skip over some things, look at some things that are interesting, go over all the EXs and interesting trainers. So here, looking at Beedrill, the stats are average. That free retreat cost is a nice thing though. Too bad it doesn't have an EX though, considering Mega Beedrill is a thing, and it came out in this set, or at least in this series of the game. So I was expecting it to at least have an EX, but maybe later on down the road. One thing I am disappointed in though is that Pidgeot EX is not in this set. They need to just print it and stop teasing me. If you're gonna tease somebody, then do it. Just go all the way. Don't do like half of it. Still, I'm glad for Mega Pidgeot though. But Allergy Shock though, this attack right here. During your next turn, if the defending Pokemon is damaged by an attack, it is automatically knocked out. Do you know the potential this attack has? Especially with Pokemon like Mew EX, who just love to copy these one energy attacks. This is definitely going to be an interesting concept. People are really going to troll with it on the trading card game online. So just kind of beware of it. Interesting attack, but that's pretty much it. Sceptile here. I guess we just bring up both of them, because why not? Alright. Sceptile here with the Nurture and Heal ability. Whenever you attach a grass energy to, well, no, it says you may attach a grass energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon if you do heal 30 damage from it. So this here is a energy acceleration, except you can only use it once a turn, and when you do attach, you heal 30 from the Pokemon you put the energy on. This is a pretty nice ability. It's just it's on the stage 2, and you know how bad evolved Pokemon are in the game currently. If it's not a basic EX, then nobody wants it. And Sceptile here, all these cards have the new abilities. They're not abilities in a traditional sense, they're just like added text. But this one here has Omega Barrier, and whenever your opponent plays a trainer card except a tool or stadium, you prevent all effects of that card done to this Pokemon. So this thing is immune to the likes of Hypnotoxic Laser, Pokemon Catcher, Escape Rope. Anything that your opponent will do to this card, they can't do anything to it due to effects of trainers. And the good thing about it is these abilities here can't be turned off by Garbotoxin and other shenanigans like Wobbuffet. So really good Pokemon here, and these do combo nicely off of each other. This Sceptile can provide an energy acceleration. This one here is the one you want to attack with. Leaf Blade, standard attack, flip a coin. If heads, it does 30 more damage, so 60 for one. And Poison Powder, you can discard one energy attached to this Pokemon, and your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned. So this combos nicely with Verbank City Gym. It's just it's a good card. I like the Sceptile for sure. There's still more stuff to look over though. Oh, and this set here does introduce the new full arts that aren't like extremely rare. So yeah. Ludicolo here, this Pokemon here just has the ability of a Pokemon catcher. I don't know if it's actually worth the deck spot. It probably isn't. It will never see play most likely. So next here we go to Trevenant EX. I think this card is going to see a lot of play because I expect Trainer Lock and Ability Lock to be huge in the next set. So Trevenant EX has the 180 HP, weakness to fire, which I guess it's still pretty bad because things like Pyroar and 3 retreat calls doesn't help it much either. Its first attack, 1 for 20, and makes it to where the defending Pokemon can't retreat. And Wood Blast does 20 more damage for each grass energy attached to this Pokemon. So it's basically Keldeo Secret Sword for grass energy. So what this is going to do is let you hit 110 damage and let you knock out things like Seismitoad EX in one hit, as well as the new Groudon EX and Kyogre EX, since they are both weak to grass. So I expect Trevenant to see some play competitively. I don't know if Dark Force is actually going to matter. It might, but you know, people will just play with their Switch cards again. I play Dragonite, so this ability won't ever lock me down in most cases. But this here is definitely going to be a good tech for Seismitoad, considering you only need 2 grass and 1 energy to attack, or to hit the 90 damage to knock it out in one hit. And if you're playing Dragonite EX like I am, that means you're already using grass energy, which means this here is a nice tech, because this can be powered up in 2 turns with Virizion, and it achieves the one-hit knockout you want on Seismitoads. And you can switch out a Dragonite EX on this if it gets 2 damage. 2 grass and a lightning, just drop a Dragonite and good to go. So I'm actually looking forward to testing this card myself. I really don't care for the Pokemon, but it seems like it'd be a good option for Dragonite EX. So I mean, it's worth looking at, in my opinion, especially if you play Dragonite EX. So here we're going to look at some of the more full arts that they got coming out. Now, this one here is a rare. This one here is an uncommon, or Torchic is an uncommon. And I don't know if these are going to be like short print uncommons, or if you're going to have a lot of these all the time. But expect to get these cards most of the time. Macargo is a rare, which is unfortunate because it's not that great a card, in my opinion. It has Omega Barrier, which makes it immune to the effects of your opponent's item cards, or trainer cards in general. But, you know, attack isn't that great. It does 120 of the defending Pokemon as an EX. It is a fire and a double colorless. But I mean, there's no reason why you wouldn't want to use Pyroar, or you would want to use this card over Pyroar. I mean, it's the much better option, and Pyroar has the intimidating main, which prevents the damage done to it anyway. So Macargo probably not going to see any play as long as the format remains the way it is, and that's it. But Torchic has the Omega Barrage, not Omega Barrier, and this makes it to where this Torchic can attack twice in a turn. So you can do shenanigans like draw 4 cards, make the attempt to do 40 damage, or draw 2 cards and make the attempt to do 20 damage. But you have to attack back to back. I really don't see any use for this. If you are playing a Blaziken that evolves, then this is the Torchic you obviously want to use, because if your opponent doesn't have an N, you can +4 and set up your discard pile for a blacksmith. The Torchic is not a bad card, much better than Macargo here, but until they make a good Blaziken, then I don't think there's actually going to be use for the Torchic. But this here is definitely the go-to Torchic if they ever do make really good Blazikens. But Blaziken also has a Mega, so we may be seeing an EX for it sometime soon. Next card here, we got Swampert and Ludicolo. Swampert has Alpha Growth, which makes it to when you attach a energy card from your hand to this Swampert, then you can attach 2 more energy cards. Now, you can't attach those energy cards to any other Pokemon. It has to go to Swampert. This ability only works on Swampert. And the one thing I do want to be clear about is that you can attach any energy card, because it just says energy cards. It doesn't say basic energy. It's any energy card. So if you attach a rainbow energy to this, you can attach 2 more energy or 2 more special energy. So that's good. But you can't use this ability here if you attach the energy cards through an attack, an ability, or a trainer card. So you pretty much have to use your manual attachment to attach to this. but it's not bad because you attach more energy. And Hydro Pump does 40 damage plus 30 more damage. So you'll be hitting 120 for 3, essentially in one turn. The ability, Diving Search, is just icing on the cake, in my opinion. It lets you search your deck for one card, shuffle your deck, and put it on top of your deck, so you can always have that top deck that you want. Especially if you play with cards like Bicycle, you can always hit those cards. So that's always going to be interesting. And there's also a new trainer card in this deck that lets you look at the top card of your deck, pick one that you want, and discard the other one. So there's also another one. We'll be looking at that one later. I'm really excited for that card. So, looking over at Ludicolo. Ludicolo, average stats, 130 HP, stage 2, weakness to grass and water. And let me say, a lot of Pokemon in this set have a weakness to grass, especially if they're usable. It's as if they're almost setting up this set here so Trevenant can just be the card to play. But his ability is Alpha Recovery, and I know you can't see it here very well, but whenever this Pokemon is healed, you double the amount of damage healed. So if you play a potion on this, instead of healing 30, you heal 60. Big deal. This Ludicolo has a lot of staying power, especially if you put it with the Hearthstone and the training stadium. This thing essentially has 170 HP. So this thing is going to be hard to knock out, especially if you're trying to knock it out in one hit. And on top of that, if you choose to make your ace spec for the turn Gold Potion now heals 180 on this Pokemon right here. Instant recovery. So it's like this here makes things max potion for the most part. And even still, Super Potion heals 60, which heals 120 on this for the cost of discarding 1 energy. Not a bad deal. And his attacks aren't that bad. You choose a random card from your opponent's hand, shuffle it into the deck after you look at it. 1 for 30, and a random card goes back to the deck. Splash Dance, during your next turn, this Pokemon's attack does 60 more damage. So if they can't move it and they can't knock it out in one hit, you're doing 120 damage every other turn after that. And you're healing off all your damage. Ludicolo, good card. It may see some play. It's the format hasn't changed some. But like I said, Trevenant is probably going to be everywhere. And even on top of that, Virizion EX with the Muscle Band does knock this out in one hit if you don't have the Training Stadium in Hearthstone. So it'll be a risky play, but this here would be a really nice card in an alternate format if they made a format where you could not use EX Pokemon. This little Kodo here would probably be something to watch out for. And the one we've all been waiting for, Wailord EX. Like, we all know Wailord has always had the highest HP out of any card, or out of any card type that has ever been printed. And with the HP of the EXs being as high as they are today, we always thought that, man, Wailord EX would probably have like 350 hit points. It was always a debate. So now we have a Wailord EX with 250 HP. Its ability, Water Veil, makes it to where whenever you attach an energy card from this to this Pokemon, you remove all special conditions from it. High Breaching, 120 for 5, and this Pokemon is now asleep. You really wouldn't want to use this card for attacking because Yveltal would eat this thing alive. Let me see, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 of Yveltal's damage is coming from just this card alone. If you choose to attack with it, Yveltal will not have any problem doing the other 150 points of damage because it can do that by itself. But this card here really comes in as a tank. This card is especially useful in the extended format with what's the name of that card? Oh, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. The one with the ability to move damage around. I can't believe I forgot his name. Like, it's on the tip of my tongue right now. But that Pokemon can move all that damage to Wailord EX and just have it sit there on the bench as a tank. This thing can hold 240 damage from any of your Pokemon that's been being hit. This thing is a ridiculous card, especially when you max potion 240 damage off of this thing. it just crushes your opponent's soul, because you just took like 2 or 3 turns of attacking away from them. And I like crushing people's souls, so that would definitely be something I would do. But there it is, officially, Will Lord EX 250 HP, so now the debates can stop. And also that weakness to grass. I'm telling you, it's like Nintendo is moving away from making Pokemon weak to lightning, especially if they're water, because literally every water Pokemon that has been printed has had weakness to grass. I have not seen a lightning weak water Pokemon in a long time. Even Vaporeon has weakness to grass. I would kill to see one with a weakness to electric. You just don't see it. Like, even going down the list, everything here is weak to grass, with the exception of Spheal here, who has a weakness to metal, and that's even saying something. Just look at it. Weakness to grass. Weakness to grass. I'm gonna leave these up because I'm gonna go after. Because I do these next. I mean, the Wish Cash isn't really all that good a card, but you know, Alpha Growth. But this thing here, you just don't want to use that. That thing, Evil Tall, kills it. Sucks that you have to say that. Does this have weakness to grass too? Okay, we'll look at that one in a second. But Kyogre EX here, 180 HP, weakness to grass, 4 Endure cost, pretty much same stats here, except with 240 HP, which is what I believe is the highest of all the Mega cards. Kyogre EX is nothing special. The card, in my opinion, sucks because of yeah, look at that. 2 for 30, puts the Pokemon to sleep. That's decent. Giant Whirlpool does 140, but forces you to return 2 energy attached to this Pokemon to your hand. There's almost no reason to ever attack with this using Giant Whirlpool. Sure, 140 damage is good, and if you can score a one-hit knockout with it, then go for it, but that return 2 energy to your hand is not that great. Instead, because Kyogre sucks, you just want to go straight into Primal Kyogre EX if you have the chance to. Reasons: Alpha Growth. You can attach pretty much 3 energy to this Pokemon in a single turn. And if you happen to have an ability or a trainer or something that attaches the extra energy, you can attach 4 energy in 1 turn. Hit your 150 damage and start knocking things out. Plus, this is a very good attack. For 4, you deal 150 damage. You move 2 energy from Primal Kyogre EX to one of your bench Pokemon. Then this attaches 30 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon EX. So what does this mean? You have Alpha Growth. You attach 2 energies from your hand, move those energies back. So not only are you dealing 150 damage, knocking things out, you are also powering up something else on the bench, which is a very big deal. On top of that, any EX Pokemon on your opponent's bench get 30 damage done to them, each of them. So you can do 150 damage to one EX, do 30 to every other EX your opponent has in play. Lysander out, the one you just did 30 to, hit that one for 150. Hit the one on the bench that probably has 20 or 30 health left, knock that out with Tidal Storm. So you take 4 prizes in a single turn. So when this hits the board and you start attacking with it, then you start knocking things out. Like, Primal Kyogre is the reason I am going to play with that Trevenant EX in my deck, because this card is way too strong. It's too good. So you definitely want a response that can knock this out in 1 hit, especially if you can power it up. So Primal Kyogre, if you get these cards, don't trade them unless you can get something really good for them. But I believe this card here is definitely going to be abused a lot in the next format, because it powers up other Kyogre EXs. It has a Spirit Link card. It's too good. Save your Primal Kyogres, start testing with Trevenant EX, and go from there. And like I said, this here, the Alpha Growth isn't an ability, so you can't turn it off. So I think they're doing that on purpose because they realize, you know, how absurd the ability locks are right now. And I don't blame them. I would prefer to see abilities like this on Pokemon instead of actual abilities, because these here seem to be very good. Man, this just makes me wonder how they're gonna make, you know, Mega Pidgeot when they make it. Oh man, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. Like the day that happens, I'm not gonna be right for a week. I'm just saying. And here we got Camera Up EX. I thought this was the only fire in the set, but I forgot about the ones at the top. It's just kind of here. But Camera Up EX, 180 HP, weakness to water, and 4 energy retreat costs. It has Omega, so hopefully we'll be seeing that soon. Tumbling attack, 2 for 60 if you get heads. And explosive jet allows you to discard as many fire energy attached to your Pokemon as you like. And this attack does 50 damage times the number of energy you discarded. This here would be a good card in Pyro decks, in my opinion. 4 fire energy in play lets it knock out any EX you want. But other than that, I really don't see this card doing much, just because of there are better attacking options most of the time, and I mean, it's just not that great a card. You could tell they're trying to make things good and have a place for it, but really this Camera Up here it's a one-turn attacker. It's going to do that big 250 and knock something out that you can't deal with, and that's it. Then you have to set it up again. I mean, you could discard the energy attached to him, or you can discard the energy attached to other things in play, but still, after you do that big attack, then that's pretty much it. I'm glad to see it cost 50, or I'm glad to see it cost 4 energy to do that damage, because Magnezone, in my opinion, was a little too good, because it just only needed the 2 energy to do, I believe it might have been 40x, it might have been 50x, but it was still not a lot of energy required for the actual cost of the attack, so that just kind of makes it harder to use. But Camera Up EX is just not a good card. Maybe wait for the Mega to come out and see if that redeems it, but as of now, I don't know. And we have, you know, more of the full art cards. Omega Barrier, Thunderfang, you know, it's an uncommon. Like I said before, I don't know if these are going to be short print uncommons, but I mean, I guess we can just wait and see. It's interesting that they're actually doing this, because Naruto card game had full arts as well like that, and you just want to use them because they look pretty. Same thing here, these cards look pretty. Electric, in my opinion, is a waste of one. This could have went to something else, like maybe an Eevee, but there's not an Eevee in the set, so it doesn't matter. But still, there are much better cards that could have used that. Electros here. Energy Connect is as you move an energy from one of your bench Pokemon to your active, and you can use this ability as often as you like, so that's always good. But I don't know too many cases where this would be good. I mean, it'll be a really good one of tech in a deck if you have the energy to do it, because this is going to at least let you save your Pokemon. And then here you can discard all lighting to do 50 more damage. You know, it's not that great a card. Continuing on, we have, if I can click it, we have Nidoqueen here, who has the Omega Barrage. So this Pokemon can attack twice, which is good. It's got 140 HP. The weakness of Psychic is bad because of Deoxys EX and Mewtwo EX. And the 2 energy retreat costs is not bad. It's actually pretty common. Poison Jab, 30 for 1, poisons a Pokemon. And Dynamite Punch. This Pokemon does 20 damage to itself, and you don't apply weakness to that damage, so she doesn't deal 40 to herself. Still, you get hit 140 just attacking twice, but you take 40 damage yourself, which is bad. There are cards you can use to not take that damage, like Protection Cube, but there's just much better options, and there's a better option coming up if you set it up right. But Nidoqueen, it can still hit that damage, especially if you just need 140 to knock something out. Like this Nidoqueen will knock out any stage 2 Pokemon with 140 HP, and it'll knock out any evolved Pokemon with a muscle band. So that's always good as well. It's an interesting card, but I don't know if it's really going to see too much play, but the ability to attack twice in a turn is very strong. Oh, and I missed this one here, Rhyperior. It's either this must have been added or I just missed it my first time around. Well, I'm gonna bring up both Medicham and Rhyperior. Rhyperior, I love the art on the card, but just let me say that. But we have Omega Barrier, so this here is unaffected by your opponent's trainer cards, which is good. 160 HP is huge. I don't think we've ever seen 160 HP on a stage 2. I believe the Charizard might have had 160. I don't remember. But 160 is definitely nice. That weakness to grass is going to kill it. And here we have Rock Wall. Any damage done by an opponent's attack is reduced by 10. After applying weakness and resistance, I wish that number was bigger, like at least 20 or 30. Just to back up that 160 HP and make it bigger. Or maybe make it to where it can't take damage from EX Pokemon or something like that. But 10 damage, not bad. I wish it were like 20 or 30 though. Or maybe make the ability where it doesn't have a weakness. You know, that would have also been good. Hammer Arm, 100 for 4. Discard top card of your opponent's deck. You know, it's never bad to discard resources, especially if you can control their top decks. Rhyperior, interesting card. It's just a bit too average in my opinion. But Medicham has 90 HP, weakness to Psychic, which is not that great. 1 of your 3 costs, and it's a rare. And this one here has Omega Barrage. So it can attack twice. Just looking at its stats, you're like, okay, well this card kind of sucks. And yeah, you're right, it does suck. But it's good because of all the support fighting Pokemon have. If you put 2 strong energies on it, this attack is doing 70 damage. If you put a Silver Bangle on it, this attack is doing what? 100 damage. If there's a Fighting Stadium in play, this attack is doing 120 damage. Now, this attack is doing 120 damage to an EX Pokemon. This can attack twice. You're doing 240 damage to an EX Pokemon every single turn. Now, in some decks, this might even replace Hawlucha. This might even replace him. Still, Hawlucha is still a good attacker. One for 60, and it can hit the same damage. But this can attack twice in a turn. When you're attacking a non-EX Pokemon, this attack will still be doing 70 and 90. So 90 damage to a non-EX. It can attack twice, 180 damage. So this Medicham here can possibly see some play, just based on that alone. But that is assuming you have the absolute best setup for it. Even still, if you just manage to get the 1 strong energy and a fighting and a muscle band on it, which isn't too common, you're still hitting 140 damage, which is still enough to knock out most stage 2 Pokemon, or just most non-EX Pokemon in the game. So Medicham looking very strong. That 90 HP, it definitely doesn't have a lot of staying power because, well, most things can knock it out in 1 hit. So you're really going to need some form of energy acceleration here. And since the attacks are both fighting, you really have to hit that fighting. So maybe we could see an ether combo here and other ways to get that energy into play. You know, who says Medicham and going back up real quick, because I don't remember the Pokemon. Medicham and Swampert can't be a thing. Diving Search for that fighting energy and put it on the top of your deck. Let's see if I can get both of these up here at the same. Yeah, my browser is really slow today for some reason. There we go. Almost got it. Almost got it. There we go. We can have Swampert do the Diving Search to put that fighting energy on the top of your deck. Then we can use Ether to attach that energy directly and attach the strong energy and still get that damage. So this here, pretty nice combo, and it supports itself really well. You still have hydro pump options, so anything weak to water can still be dealt with. But there you go, combo. Continuing on, we have Groudon EX and Primal Groudon EX, if it'll open up. Well, the video isn't lagging, but my browser is, so there's that. But Groudon EX is actually interesting because Rip Claw is 2 for 30, and if you flip heads, there's a chance you can discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. And Massive Rend, which is 4 for 130, and that's it. So a vanilla attack for 130 damage. If you have to attack with Groudon, it doesn't really cost you anything. Primal Groudon, for example, is the one you want to play with, and is the most interesting in my opinion. Again, we have the Omega Barrier here that makes it to where this card is unaffected by your opponent's trainer cards. And Gaia Volcano, 4 for 100, and if there's a stadium card in play, this attack does 100 more damage than you discard that stadium. So 200 for 4 in most cases. A deck built around this is good, because you can still use a an ether engine for it and have it powered up by turn 2. A lot of potential here. 240 HP. It can take hits. Still, that weakness to grass is going to be a hindrance to it, in my opinion. But there you go, 200 damage for pretty much free. Primal Groudon looking very strong, just like Primal Kyogre. Here we have Sharpedo EX. There isn't a Mega Sharpedo EX in this set, but there may be one coming up soon. 170 HP, weakness to lightning, which is impressive in my opinion, because there's nothing like it. But Hunt switches your opponent's bench Pokemon with his or her active. Then the new active takes 30. If this was a 1 energy attack, then it might be better, but it's 2 for that ability. And we have Jagged Fang, which does 100. You discard an energy attached to this Pokemon, then you discard an energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon. 100 for 3 is still pretty strong, and it's just an average. It's an average attacker. I mean, there's nothing too great about it, but it can trap something and then start hitting it, so that's always good. Aggron EX and Mega Aggron EX. Mega Aggron EX actually kind of worries me a little bit. This here is kind of the card that I feel is the killer of the format, for good reason. Aggron EX is just an average attacker. Its most interesting attack is Raging Hammer, which does 60 plus 10 more for each damage attached to this Pokemon. Mega Aggron EX has a Megaton Slam, which does 120 damage. And if you flip a coin, it does 120 more damage. If tails, the attack does 20 damage to each of your bench Pokemon. Now, with things like Victory Star Victini and Trick Coin, this attack goes to knocking out any Pokemon in the game in one hit 75% of the time. 75% chance to get 1 or 2 prizes every single turn. That's overpowered in my opinion. This card right here is way too good, and I feel the same way about Groudon EX, his Mega. But I mean, just the ability to knock out most things in the game in 1 hit in a single turn most of the time is just, it's too good. Because why would you want to play anything that gets knocked out all the time in 1 hit? I feel cards like this contribute to the game not being fun because you can't play around it. If there were side decks or something in the game, then yeah, you can hit it, and things like Pyroar don't stop this because it's an evolved Pokemon. Even Pokemon with Safeguard can't stop this because of a trainer that shuts off their abilities. So this is looking very strong, It's very scary. I would say do some testing with it to know for sure. But with all the support that Metal has Plasma Steel ability, which is still legal. They got Bronzong now. They've got Steel Shelter and the other stadium that turns off abilities for basic Pokemon. I mean, Metal has a lot of support now, and this is just making it even more scary in my opinion. Mega Aggron EX, a very good card. I would say hold on to them if you get them, but that's pretty much it on that. Let's see, Excadrill. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing very special about this card. It can attack the turn it comes out, because you can just attach 2 energy from your deck to this Pokemon. Then you can Mat Claw pretty much right afterwards because of Omega Barrage. But I don't really see this doing much in many cases, because you have to have the Steel energy to attack. Maybe if this here was just 3 random, then this would be a really good support attacker in decks like Dragonite. But I don't know, it's not that interesting card. Aegislash, also a pretty interesting card. Makes it to where each of your Pokemon have no weakness. This could be an interesting one of tech if there was a way you can just put the Aegislash directly and play itself. There are ways you can do it, but they require too much setup, so good chance that's not going to happen. Here we have Gardevoir EX and Mega Gardevoir EX. So, Mega Gardevoir EX, 170 HP, weakness to Steel, resistant to Dark, between retreat cards, pretty common for most of the fairies. But Gardevoir does Life Leap, which heals the same amount of damage that you do to your opponent's active Pokemon. Shining Wind, during your opponent's next turn, this Gardevoir has no weakness. So there's always that. It's an average card. And then we have Mega Gardevoir, which does Brilliant Arrow, which does 30 damage times the amount of fairy energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So this attack can get really big. Now, there is a stadium that allows evolved Pokemon to use attacks from their previous form. So with Mega Gardevoir, if you are worried about getting knocked out in one hit to a Steel Pokemon, you can just Shining Wind using that effect, and you won't have your weakness. So that's always an option. Mega Gardevoir EX it's a decent card. It's definitely one you have to watch out for, because Xerneas can set up Brilliant Arrow very well in the first early turns. Kingdra EX, I just love this card because the artwork is gorgeous on it. Has Alpha Growth, so it can energy accelerate to itself, gather strength to search your deck for 4 basic energy and put them into your hand, so it sets itself up very nicely. And it has Dragon Blast, which discard a water and lightning energy to do 150 damage. Good card. Kingdra has always had interesting cards. This one here is no different. Is this Kingdra here? Okay, I thought this might have been a reprint. Oh, and I think I should note the weakness to Fairy. So we definitely won't have Dragon weak Pokemon anymore. Actually, are there any Dragon weak Pokemon anymore? That one's weak to Fairy. The other ones, I don't think there's gonna be any more Dragon weak Pokemon anymore. Oh well. That's all the interesting stuff there. And so here we have the Acrobike, which was what I was talking about earlier. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand and discard the other. It's just a nice 1 card draw for the most part. It helps you find things a little bit quicker, especially if you get a bunch of them. Here we have Dive Ball, which lets you search your deck for a water Pokemon and put it into your hand. Nothing too big there. But here we have Archie's, if I can move this, Archie's Ace in the Hole and Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick. Basically, you can only play this card if this is the last card in your hand, because this is a very strong cards. Both of them are. Archie lets you put a water Pokemon from your discard pile onto your bench, then you draw 5. Maxie lets you put a fighting Pokemon from your discard pile onto your bench, then you draw 5. The biggest difference here is these Pokemon don't have to be basic. They can be stage 1 or stage 2. So things like Swampert, for example, you can just put that directly onto your bench as if it were a basic Pokemon. Good fet, then lets you draw 5. So you're supported for the turn, good utility. I don't know too many instances where it will be useful, but I know the last Team Aqua, Team Magma decks were very strong because they had very unique effects. And it's those unique effects that turn games around. So really interesting to see what can be done with these cards here. And Spirit Links, you know, we're not going to really go over these because we know what these do already. Energy Retrieval, I believe, was just added. We already know what this does. Escape Rope, Experience Share, we know what that does. No need to look over it. I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. And we got Fresh Water Set. Heals 20 damage from each of your Pokemon. A pretty decent card, especially if you have Pokemon that double the amount they heal. So that could be interesting to see what can be done with it. I don't think too much is going to be done, because it's a very average effect, and the amount of damage versus what cards heal isn't that great. So we have Professor Birch's Observations. What this does is you shuffle your hand into your deck and you flip a coin. If heads, you draw 7. If tails, you draw 4. So I believe this card here is going to replace Shauna, because Shauna gets you 5, which is obviously much better because on the lowest end here you draw 4. But most of the time, or half the time I should say, you'll be drawing 7 cards. So it's definitely worth the risk if you have to play it. Still, if you have a Juniper, then you obviously want to play the Juniper. But if you're trying to save cards and put things back into the deck for things like Virizion, then you have that option of drawing 1 less card to draw 4, so you can better utilize your attacks. It's a pretty interesting card. I like it. I'm definitely going to replace my Shaunas with it and see what I can do with it. But that all depends on how the card actually performs. So we've got Repeat Ball. Repeat Ball, in my opinion, is actually a very good card because it lets you search your deck for a Pokemon and put it into your hand if you have that Pokemon in play. So if I have a I'm going to use Zapdos EX as an example. If I have Zapdos EX and I want to know Zapdos EX, I just play a Repeat Ball and I grab it. But if I have a Zapdos, a Vaporeon, a Pidgeot, and a Zangoose in play. But hold on, does Zangoose have any cards right now? I don't think Zangoose has any cards. That's odd. But anyway, if I have any of those 4 in play, I can search my deck for any of those 4 and put it into my hand because of this. I believe this here is a really good option next to Ultra Ball because in most cases, you're only going to be looking for Pokemon you already have in play to begin with. So if you start the game off with like a solo Eviltal EX, you can search only for Eviltal EX. But as the game goes on, Repeat Ball definitely becomes a card that becomes a very good resource as the game progresses. I believe the correct number to play of this would be 2, and maybe have like 3 Ultra Balls. But we'll have to wait and see though. Stadium cards. We have Rough Seas, Scorched Earth, Shrine of Memories, and Silent Lab. Going in order, Rough Seas lets a player heal 30 damage from each of his or her water and lightning Pokemon. Okay, I didn't see it said each last time. That could be very strong. healing 30 from each of your water and lightning Pokemon, especially if they can double the amount they heal. Okay, that's going to be a very, very good card. Can't wait to see what shenanigans happens with this bad boy right here. Rough Seas, very interesting card. Scorched Earth. Once during that player's turn, he or she may discard a fighting or fighting Pokemon from your hand. I don't know if I said fighting twice. Or fire or fighting energy from his or her hand. If you do, you draw 2 cards. It's just energy acceleration. This here is going to be a lot less of an option for most decks. So things like Pyroar benefit from this. Any fighting deck also benefits from this. So very good card. Shrine of Memories just simply lets each evolved Pokemon use attacks from their previous evolutions. So Mega Pokemon have more options available to them, which is not a bad card. Silent Lab, however, is the card that I was talking about. Each basic Pokemon in play in each player's hand and in each player's discard pile has no abilities. So this instantly stops things like Wobbuffet, Safeguard, you know, any of those basic Pokemon that are out now that either lock decks or prevent people from doing stuff. They just instantly lose their abilities. So Execute becomes useless, Safeguard becomes useless, Wobbuffet becomes useless, Virizion EX becomes useless, Darkrai can't use this effect. I mean, this is just a very strong card. Even at 1 or 2 in the deck, if you can just get this out, it just stops your opponent. Now this here doesn't turn off the abilities, for example, evolved Pokemon, but because of the fact I currently play Dragonite, I'm definitely gonna have to run counter stadiums just to turn this ability off, because you guys already know how much I hate ability locks, just because they're so strong. This here's a very strong card, and not having any way to deal with this turns games into an auto loss. Going on, we have Teammates and Weakness Policy, so we'll look at these next. Teammates. You can play this card if one of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Search your deck up for the 2 cards, put them in your hand, and shuffle your deck afterwards. So this card is pretty much twins. So I'm pretty sure we all know what that does. Where my Weakness Policy go? It must have closed. But Teammates, good card. Definitely one that can be used as a 1 or 2 of in a deck. But that's pretty much it there, I believe. I'll test it because I did like twins. And since I am playing Dragonite EX, I tend to let my opponents score a knockout on me just so I can end them down to 4 or 2 or 1. So, yeah. Weakness Policy just makes it to where if this card is attached to a Pokemon, they have no weakness. I would have liked to see this have a different ability, like if you if one of your Pokemon took a super effective hit, or super effective, I'm talking about the video game right now, but if your Pokemon took double damage due to weakness, then this should let you search your deck for 1 or 2 cards and put it into your hand. That would have been a much better effect. But I mean, Weakness Policy is still good, prevents them from having weakness. Shield Energy and Wonder Energy. Shield Energy is basically the special metal energy, except it can only be attached to metal Pokemon. So it's the very original metal energy. Nothing interesting there. Wonder Energy can only be attached to fairy Pokemon, and as long as this card is attached to a fairy Pokemon, then they are unaffected by your opponent's attack effects. And it says existing effects are not removed. So if something locked you in place and you attach this energy to it, you couldn't retreat because that effect is still on you. But any other effects that will occur afterwards don't affect you. So this here is also another really good energy card. A lot of utility can be done there. And here we have, you know, just the full arts of all the cards. Just going to show these off real quick. I actually like Kyogre EX's artwork. It looks really good. And Primal, Kyogre EX, I believe this is the first Mega to have a full art. Or it looks like all the megas have full arts. So yeah, all the megas in this set going onward might have full arts, it looks like. Which is why I wasn't sure they didn't do that with the other megas. You know, they all should have had full arts. Gardevoir EX also has really nice artwork. Professor Birch and teammates, because the skirts couldn't get any shorter on them, I'm sure. And the secret rare is a enhanced hammer. Now there are other secret rares as well. I'm going to show them to you because they are listed here as well, and they are some pretty interesting secret rares in my opinion. And there was a Dragonite. I forgot about that. See if we can find them. Secret rare is a switch, which is very nice. So if you guys want a $40 switch card, then there you go. And weakness policy. One of the weaker of the two, but not a bad card by any example. And the other secret rare is Dive Ball. So there you have it. This here is my review of this set. I like this set a lot. A lot of cards in this set are definitely going to change the meta. And they're probably going to change the meta for, I think, the worst. But I mean, that's just the nature of these things. Companies want to make money, and how they make you buy things is they make everything better than the last stuff that came out. I think that's bad if you want to have a balanced game, but you know, companies like making money, so there you go. My rating for this set would probably be a solid 8 out of 10. I mean, a lot of things in here do help a lot of decks that currently exist. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of the cards are very strong, and we can expect this here to completely shape the meta. I don't think this set here introduces any new decks per se as of this set. Like, you know how the other sets, they'll make something and you can just build a very good competitive deck just from that set. I don't think this set does that. This set here just helps things that already exist. Like, for example, you can put Primal Groudon EX in a Lucario deck, and you can put Mega Aggron EX in a Bronzong Plasma Kling deck. It just helps those decks. It makes those decks stronger, and a lot of cards do that. Just help make decks a lot stronger. I'm glad to see Experience Share come back, because that's going to definitely do some work for other cards, especially the ones that need to maintain as much energy and play as possible. But yeah, this here is a very good set. I like it. I say most of your cards that you get, especially your EXs, just hold on to them and see how they change the meta. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys like this video, subscribe to my channel, because I'm always going to be doing stuff like this in the future. And if you got any comments, just leave them below. I like to know what you guys think about this set as well. Any interesting combos that you think might actually work. And like the video, because I always like seeing likes. And as always, thank you guys for watching my videos, and I will see you all in the next one. Later.